Max Verstappen, the name that once sent shockwaves of fear through every team on the F1 grid, is suddenly the center of a storm no one saw coming, not for his driving, not for his dominance, but because he might be about to walk away from Red Bull, from the team that built its empire around him, the team he turned into a machine of relentless victory. What's unfolding behind the scenes is far more than a simple contract negotiation. It's a quiet reckoning inside the most powerful team in modern Formula One, and the stakes, nothing short of the sport's balance of power. For months, Verstappen has played it cool. No public ultimatums, no dramatic statements, just quiet observation. But that silence is its own message. Because while Red Bull wants the world to believe everything is under control, insiders are telling a different story. And now, the rumors are no longer whispers. Red Bull's engine program meant to define their future is in serious trouble. The Red Bull-Ford partnership, once hailed as a bold step toward independence, has become a cloud of doubt hovering over the team's 2026 prospects. This isn't just about next season's car. It's about everything that made Red Bull a modern dynasty. Max knows it. He's watching the numbers, the development targets, the engine test results. He's comparing it all to what Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren are building in their own camps. And what he's seeing doesn't inspire confidence. He's already won everything with Red Bull. He doesn't need to stay. What he needs is to stay competitive when the regulations flip the script in 2026. And if Red Bull's powertrain can't promise that, then why stay loyal? Behind Max's cool exterior, there's a driver who understands the ruthless timing of this sport. His decision isn't just about money or legacy, it's about being in the right car at the right moment. Because when the new era of regulations hits, whoever gets it wrong may be out of the game for years. Max doesn't want to spend the prime of his career fighting for P5s. Not when Mercedes might be calling. Not when McLaren is rising faster than anyone expected. And let's not ignore the timing of Red Bull's leadership implosion. Christian Horner is out. Jonathan Wheatley is gone. Helmut Marko's power is fading. And the once feared tight-knit razor-sharp outfit is starting to feel more like a corporate boardroom than a race team. Max grew up under Red Bull's old culture, aggressive, cunning, relentless. That culture is dying, and Max might be done waiting around to see what rises from the ashes. This is the calm before the collapse. The moment before the engine fails, before the facade cracks, before the exodus begins. If Verstappen goes, Red Bull doesn't just lose a driver deus. Verstappen wastes his future. The situation around him is only getting more fragile. Red Bull Racing, once the symbol of unified dominance, is starting to show signs of structural failure. Not on the track yet, but in the places that matter just as much: leadership, direction, and belief. The departure of Christian Horner didn't just shake up the management chart. It tore open a rift in Red Bull's foundation, because for all the controversy he stirred, Horner was the glue. He was the strategist, the negotiator, the watchdog, and now he's gone. Not by accident, not by retirement, but by force from within. Insiders close to the Verstappen camp, especially Max's father Joe's, were reportedly among the most vocal critics of Horner's growing power. There were accusations that he was reshaping the team into his own image, centralizing control, making enemies even inside his own garage. So when he was finally pushed out, many assumed it was a win for Verstappen. But the truth is more complicated and more dangerous. Because while Max may have gotten what he wanted in the short term, the long-term cost could be everything. Red Bull's internal power struggle didn't end with Horner's exit. It only exposed how fragmented the team really is. Who's leading now? Is it Helmut Marko, whose influence has waned significantly? Is it Oliver Mintzlaff from Red Bull Corporate, who seems more focused on aligning the team with corporate strategy than winning races? Or is it no one at all, a ship running on legacy momentum, hoping the storm holds off until 2026? And that's the problem Max Verstappen sees more clearly than anyone. The Red Bull of 2021, 2022, even 2023, that was a team that operated like a mafia. Strategic, vicious, always 2 steps ahead. They questioned their rivals, challenged the FIA, pushed the rules, the setups, the limits, always with purpose. Now, that energy feels scattered. The silence surrounding the powertrain project, the lack of clear direction, the cautious public messagings, not the Red Bull Max knows. And if the engine program fails, they can't bluff their way out of it. The rumors about the Red Bull partnership are growing louder. Despite official denials, multiple sources claim that development benchmarks are being missed, that engine performance is lagging behind Mercedes and Ferrari, and worst of all, that the leadership vacuum created by Horner's departure is starting to affect technical progress. Horner's critics might have wanted him gone, but they never prepared for what his absence would create: uncertainty. Verstappen isn't blind to the politics. He knows the timing of these engine programs is everything. Honda is rumored to be quietly making a comeback. Mercedes is reportedly ahead of schedule. Even Audi, despite their current issues, are investing heavily. But Red Bull, they're saying less, showing less, and the silence is beginning to speak volumes. This is what makes Max's silence so loud. He's not just evaluating horsepower or lap times, he's reading the team's body language, the morale, the ambition, and right now, Red Bull looks like a team unsure of who they are without him. But here's the twist: they may not have much time to figure it out. Because if Max leaves, they'll need more than just a new driver. They'll need to redefine everything. While the political drama inside Red Bull brews quietly behind the scenes, the track itself is about to become a battlefield, and this weekend's Grand Prix at Spa might just be the match that lights the fire. The weather forecast is ominous. Heavy rain on Thursday, scattered storms on Friday, and a strong chance of rain during the race itself. For a driver like Max Verstappen, Spa is a homecoming of sorts. It's where he cut his teeth, where he made early headlines, but it's also a venue filled with unpredictability. And in 2021, it became a symbol of Formula One chaos. The fear is that history might repeat itself, but the opportunity for disruption is also immense. In the wet, chaos favors the brave. And that's where the story shifts, not just toward Max, but toward a new storm quietly brewing on the track: Lando Norris. Under the radar and often overlooked in wet conditions, Norris has stunned the paddock this year with how dominant he's been in tricky weather. He's taken on the giants Verstappen and Hamilton, Leclerc, and beaten them when the rain has poured. And in Spa, with new upgrades under the hood, he might finally be stepping into the spotlight as a genuine title contender. McLaren, as technical team, has quietly executed one of the most effective mid-season revivals in recent memory. They've implemented front suspension changes, revised aerodynamic components, and adjusted their entire car philosophy to unlock Lando's confidence, especially in the wet. Piastri, meanwhile, held back on the same upgrades, preferring consistency. That decision could come back to haunt him, because if the floor upgrades this weekend pair better with the revised suspension setup Lando's already running, McLaren could suddenly have a clear number one, and that changes everything inside that garage. But it's not just McLaren. Ferrari is desperately trying to stay relevant in this mix. Their new rear suspension is meant to solve braking instability, lift-off overheating, and tire management issues. But the margin for error in rain is razor thin. And as always, Ferrari is dancing between hope and heartbreak. Charles Leclerc has spoken candidly about the culture inside Ferrari, about how things are being done differently now, how lessons are being learned from Mercedes. But words only go so far. If the changes don't work under pressure, Ferrari will fall behind again. Mercedes, for their part, are lying low, but they're ready. George Russell's contract limbo is no accident. Toto Wolff is keeping the seat warm in case Max makes the call. And Lewis Hamilton, he may not be the championship threat he once was, but Spa is one of his strongest tracks. Every time he's finished there, he's been in the top four. If rain levels the field, Hamilton's experience could resurface as a serious weapon. This weekend is more than a rest, it's a pressure cooker. Every team knows that Spa in the rain could flip the standings, elevate a new contender, or expose a fatal flaw. And for Red Bull, who are already fighting internal doubts, the timing couldn't be worse. One bad call, one mechanical issue, one wrong setup, and the illusion of control could vanish overnight. That's the fragility of Formula One. The difference between dynasty and downfall can sometimes be decided by the weather. Max Verstappen is standing at a crossroads end for all his silence. It's becoming clear that the clock is ticking louder than ever. Everyone's waiting. Red Bull, Mercedes, the entire grid. Because the moment Verstappen makes his move, it will reshape the sport. But here's the thing most people haven't grasped. Max's decision isn't just about 2026. It's about what comes after. It's about control, culture, and legacy. Verstappen isn't just the best driver on the planet. Right now, he's a driver who understands leverage better than anyone else on the grid. He knows that with every passing day, the Red Bull Ford engine project looks more vulnerable. He knows that the more uncertainty creeps into Milton Keynes, the more valuable his presence becomes. He can wait. He should wait. Because he's not signing a short-term contract, he's choosing where to spend the next era of his career. And this is where Mercedes enters the frame, not just as a fallback, but as a legitimate new empire. Toto Wolff is building for the future, and everything he's doing delaying Russell's extension, increasing flexibility in team strategy. Laying the groundwork for 2026 is centered around one thing: attracting Verstappen. The dynamic would be radically different. Max would no longer be the face of a young, aggressive Red Bull. He'd be stepping into a team with institutional stability, immense resources, and a legacy of 7 world titles. But that move would come with pressure, expectations, and a target on his back the size of Silverstone. Still, the alternative may be worse: staying with Red Bull, watching the engine project flounder, and becoming collateral damage in a post-Horner identity crisis. Even Helmut Marko, once Max's staunchest ally, has started to show cracks in public support, deflecting questions, offering vague reassurances, and downplaying Max's growing frustration. That's not how loyalty looks. That's how fear looks. Fear that the crown jewel of Red Bull Racing is preparing to leave the palace. The truth is, Red Bull tried to fix this. They fired Horner, shifted focus, tried to calm the Verstappen camp, but it might be too little, too late. The rot has already begun. And if Max senses that the project can't deliver a title-contending car in 2026, he's gone. He may not say it out loud, he may not even say it privately, but the decision is building inside him like pressure in a turbo unit. And when he finally lets go, it will be explosive. So now, all eyes are on Spa, on the rain, on the strategy calls, on the paddock politics that will swirl through the weekend. Because this race isn't just about points, it's about power. Red Bull is teetering on the edge, and Max Verstappen holds the balance. If he stays, Red Bull might recover. But if he leaves, it's the end of an era. If this moment in F1 history feels as pivotal to you as it does to us, don't just watch IT, be part of it. Subscribe, drop a comment, and let's hear your take. If you were Max Verstappen, what would you do? Stay loyal or chase destiny elsewhere? This is no longer just a driver's story. It's the future of Formula One, and it's unfolding in real time.